Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host, Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Joe Comerford from Middletown Transit. Joe, welcome. How are you?
I'm well. How about you, Peter?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Nice to see you. It's been a while.
It sure has.
It has. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with Middletown Transit.
Sure. So I've been here with Middletown Transit for going on 12 years.
Wow.
So it's been a long time already. I've been in the public transit business since college, actually. I started off driving buses as my job at UConn, my on-campus job, and kind of just never left it. So I managed some systems after that in Monroe, Louisiana. Spent about 5 or 6 years, and then got the opportunity to come back here and work here at Middletown Transit.
You like it?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've stayed a long time. So
absolutely.
It's been a great place to work and a great place to see grow over the past.
Absolutely. Now tell us a little
years.
bit about how Middletown Transit is doing during the current pandemic that we're in.
Sure. We have run through the entire pandemic.
Yep.
We never shut down at all. We had reduced service a little bit on just one of our routes, but other than that, we've been running the entire time, in large part because many of the people who use us are essential workers, and they still had to get to their jobs. And while ridership is down, particularly some services more than others,
Right.
We've steadily had people riding every day throughout this entire pandemic. We have had to obviously make a lot of changes. We learned a lot along the way. Again, unlike other businesses, we didn't have the benefit of being able to be closed for a while and figure out how we were going to do this.
Right.
We had to learn as we went.
Absolutely.
We are fortunate that our state worked really well with us. Our state Department of Transportation and all of the transit districts coordinated very closely, and we tried to do many of the same things throughout the entire state. So one of the things we did early on was discontinue collecting fares.
Yeah.
So obviously that allowed us to not have to handle cash anymore and not have to have our customers handle cash or tickets or any of those things, or even have anyone up at the fare box right next to the driver. So there are several reasons to do that, to keep people safe.
Right.
Since then, we've used this time to install barriers for the drivers so that there's now plexiglass barriers, and our last few are going in next week. And that will allow us to resume fare collection on November 1st.
Okay.
So we'll finally be back to collecting fares kind of somewhat like normal. But we'll have some new options for that, which we will be talking about a little later.
Sure.
We also have had to have mask requirements, just like pretty much everywhere else you go today. We now ask that everyone using our system wear a mask while they're on the bus. Obviously, that keeps everyone on the bus safer to have your masks on. Again, early on, we were having to deal with capacity limitations, and we have put up signs on every other seat asking people to save this seat to allow for spacings. And people have been very good at complying with that and trying not to sit right next to somebody else who might be on the vehicle.
Exactly.
There's been also the need to increase and change the way we clean vehicles. We in the past you really focused on sweeping and cleaning surfaces, but this has really changed the way we do that and focus much more on making sure we're disinfecting the buses every single day.
Absolutely.
Something that just industry-wide wasn't done to this extent in the past.
Correct.
You didn't do those things, so that's been something new. And we're continuing to look at other ways, as technology changes and new things are coming at us. We're evaluating all those things as they come and seeing if they make sense and if they'll help keep our customers safer. So we're trying out some barriers between seats and some other things, and we'll see how those are received and see if we're going to implement them throughout the entire system.
Exactly.
But as we continue through this, we're all learning and adapting as we learn more about this virus.
Exactly. And I'm sure your day-to-day operations, I'm sure, have changed as far as what you got to do. And
it has. The good thing is we're kind of in a new normal now, and
Yep.
you know, we're at a point where it's all kind of become normal again to us.
Absolutely.
You know, in what is now our normal. But that's been a good thing because it's allowing us to go back to focusing on, you know, other things besides just the pandemic. Because I think we've at a place where we've got a pretty good handle on how to operate safely, you know, for both our employees and our customers.
Absolutely.
Throughout this.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the service area that you guys offer.
Yeah, we cover, we like to say, the Valley Shore region, which is a pretty big area. We cover it's a little over 300 square miles.
Okay.
So it's a pretty large service area. We go from, our main area is from Clinton to Old Lyme and north up to Haddam, and we even go to Durham.
Okay.
And then on top of those main areas where we serve everywhere within those towns, we also have some routes that go beyond that. So we go as far as Madison on our bus routes, and New London on the east side, and north up to Middletown. And we also have some dollar ride service to Middletown because of the many doctors and medical complexes up in Middletown. Sure. So it's a rather large area.
It is.
And you know, a total of 13 towns that we cover entirely with our dollar ride service. So it's a very large service area, one of the largest of any transit district in the state.
Exactly.
And we do about 700,000 miles a year on our vehicles.
Oh wow!
So we're out there a lot.
You guys are out there a lot.
About 40,000 hours of service a year. We have about $2 million operating budget, and we do about 100,000 passenger trips every single year. So we're moving a lot of people over a very large area, and like I said, a lot of hours every year.
Exactly. And you guys, personally speaking, you guys are a great service.
Oh, we appreciate that.
You guys are a great service. And I know that I'm on one of your buses at least twice a day, at least. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon.
Yeah, we appreciate you riding with us. I know you've been out there through this pandemic as well.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, we understand how important it is to all the many people who use us every day.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Let's go back to let's do a brief explanation of services.
Sure. So we have a few different types of service. You know, I always used to say we have two. We've actually expanded, so I'll talk more about some of the other things we do today.
Sure.
But still, our main services are, first, our routes. We have routes that run throughout the area. We have 5 routes in total, and they run on a regular schedule and a published route.
Yep.
And as I said earlier, they go a little further than some of our other services, mostly make connections. So we have routes, we basically have a hub in Old Saybrook, and we have 4 routes that start in Old Saybrook and go out from there. And they go to Madison, New London, Middletown, and then we also have our local one that goes between Old Saybrook and Chester. Okay. And then we also have new service from Madison up to Middletown, so it covers the western edge of our district to get them up to Middletown.
Oh wow!
And you know, from like Killingworth or some parts of Clinton,
right,
into Madison, where they can then transfer on from there. Those routes connect to other services. Like in Madison, we connect to CT Transit New Haven, so we have a time connection where we get there, the bus is waiting right there for you, and you can hop right off our bus and right onto theirs for no additional cost. And in New London, we transfer to buses that go all over the New London area and up to Norwich even, and out to Mystic, and so get pretty far east as well. And north, we connect to both Middletown area transit, which goes all over Middletown into Meriden, and we also connect to CT Transit Hartford.
Oh wow!
So you can connect to a lot of places by our routes, and all of them accept our transfers. Right. And the cost for any of our routes is just $1.75. So you can get to all those places for just $1.75 and again and beyond. So it's a really, really inexpensive way to get around the Valley Shore region. One of our other services that we've, again, more traditional services we've done a long time is our Dollar Ride program. And our Dollar Ride's a door-to-door service that goes anywhere within 13 towns that we serve as our main service area, and you had to just call a day in advance, and you could travel anywhere again within those 13 towns and parts of Middletown. And that's just $350
Right.
each way. So again, still a little more, but still a very inexpensive trip.
Absolutely.
And and we have several vehicles doing that, and that operates Monday through Friday. And then we'll go on to some of our newer stuff.
Yeah.
The first is a taxi voucher program, and that is for seniors and people with disabilities.
Okay.
And that will cover half the cost of a taxi trip, and that's whether that be a sedan or a wheelchair accessible taxi. And you can go anywhere in the state of Connecticut, and we'll cover half the cost.
Wow.
And yeah, it's another great program. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you could book it up to about 2 months in advance. And it's well, we don't have any restrictions on how you use it. It's really intended to fill those gaps in the places that we might not go,
right,
or outside of our normal hours. So we see a lot of people use it for medical trips, to places that they don't have to go to too often and are way outside of our service area. But people use it for all sorts of reasons. We've had people using it for work and many different reasons. Yeah. So it's another great program when you have to travel, so either beyond our service area or beyond our normal hours or days of service.
Now, what are your hours and days of service?
So it varies a bit by our program.
Okay.
Many of our routes are Monday through Friday. Our dollar rides Monday through Friday. Mostly from about 6 a.m. until about 7 p.m.
Okay.
Some routes do run on Saturdays, sorry, nothing on Sundays,
No.
but Saturdays we have some service on as well, from about 7 a.m. to about 6 o'clock p.m.
Okay.
And so one of the things, and again, we'll talk a little more, that we're hoping to expand more onto the weekends.
Really?
Another one of our new services is our on-demand service.
Okay.
And that's probably been one of our most popular new offerings. And it's a service where we have an app available, and people, just like so many of the ride-sharing services that people use, like Uber or Lyft, we have an app where you can go on the app and book your trip within our service area.
Is that Extra Mile?
That's Extra Mile.
I was on it this morning.
Oh, excellent. And it's the entire town of Old Saybrook.
Okay.
And some parts of Westbrook and Essex and Centerbrook.
Oh, wow.
So it's a smaller area.
Right.
But again, you just, instead of having to book in advance like our traditional dial ride, or go out on a schedule like any of our routes, you just pull up that app and you could book, and the bus comes on average within about 12 minutes of your booking.
Yeah.
And so it's just totally on demand, and kind of different than what some of the other services out there do. We also allow people to call us, so people can also call us at our normal phone number and book by phone. Okay. So for people who either just aren't comfortable with technology,
right,
maybe don't have access to a smartphone or internet data, they can just call us and book that way. And same thing, just call us and say, I'm ready to go, and we're there usually, again, on average about 12 minutes. We're at your door, and we'll take you anywhere within that service area. Right now, this is still a new service. We're one of 2 pilot locations in the state. Right now, we're not charging any fare for that.
right.
We're still evaluating what we may charge in the future.
Exactly.
But at the moment, there's no charge. And another unique thing about it is we use a wheelchair accessible vehicle. And even if you need a mobility, you need to bring in a mobility device on the vehicle, we have a wheelchair lift. So we can accommodate people with disabilities where many private companies cannot.
Exactly.
They're using sedans or minivans, and they don't have the capability of carrying a mobility device. So we're seeing a whole new group of people using it. I mean, we do have seniors using it, but we have a lot of younger people. Our the number of people under 35 using it
Okay.
has been really high. So it's been incredibly popular. It's even stayed very popular through the pandemic. We didn't see it drop very much like some of our other services.
Right.
And before the pandemic, it was growing, double digits growth every single month.
Exactly.
And it's finally getting back to that point now. So it remains a very, very popular option in this Old Saybrook, Westbrook, and Centerbrook area.
Absolutely. And as far as this part of the pandemic that we're in now, has ridership gone a little bit up? Then
yeah, since the state has reopened
Right.
more and more, we are seeing ridership start to
Good.
return.
Good. To a somewhat normal.
Depends on the service. Some are still below.
Okay.
There's still things like Middlesex Community College, which we have several services that run to the college, and generally increase significantly during the semester. That that has not happened because
Right.
most people are still learning remotely.
Mm-hmm.
But it is coming back. But of course, until people are totally back to work,
Right.
we're going to see lower ridership for a while because employment is the number one reason why people use our services to get to work. That's the main reason people are traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the unemployment still high due to the pandemic, it's going to be a little while before it totally returns.
Right.
But it is coming back. It's definitely coming back, and we're going to be here for people as they do return to work and get their jobs back.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the other things we're going to talk about is ADA.
So yeah, our other new thing since last time I was here is what we call ADA Paratransit, which is short for the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yep.
And that operates mostly along the shoreline, along Route 1.
Okay.
Along one of our bus routes.
Right.
And that's for people who have disabilities that prevent them from using the regular fixed route buses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another door-to-door service. You book at least a day in advance. It's a lot like our Dollar Ride.
Yep.
The only difference is it's got a little later hours. So it runs a little later into the day, and it runs on Saturdays, which our normal Dollar Ride does not. And it'll also go beyond where our regular Dollar Ride goes.
Right.
In some ways not. But it does go, we go out further west because we have those connections to New Haven. So we go as far as parts of Branford with our ADA Paratransit, and we coordinate with Greater New Haven Transit District.
Okay.
For the return trip. And if you want to go beyond that, then we will coordinate with Greater New Haven Transit District to meet them. And so if you wanted to go to New Haven,
right.
West Haven, any of the places that you can get to by a fixed route bus, because we have that connection to New Haven,
right.
you can get to by our ADA Paratransit.
Absolutely.
So it helps people get even further than they can get before. It allows you to get to places like, we would go directly to the Yale Medical Center in Guilford.
Okay.
Just one of many places that we now go to with our ADA Paratransit service.
Wow. And
that does require a pre-certification process.
Mm-hmm.
We have a statewide application form that you can fill out. You can get to us straight from our website. On our website, you can go right to that. You can fill it out online. It will get submitted to us electronically, or you can download it and print it and fill it out and mail it in to us. Or you can always call us, and we will be happy to mail an application if none of those other options are good for you, or you'd rather just have it get it by mail.
Right.
We're happy to do that as well. And it's a pretty easy, interview process. And we've had to modify that a little, obviously, because of the pandemic. But it's once you're certified, you have the ability, kind of as I alluded to earlier, to use other transit districts' ADA Paratransit service, not only throughout Connecticut, but throughout the entire country, because it is a federal mandated program.
Absolutely.
So anywhere, if you just travel somewhere and you're ADA certified, you can call up and use their ADA Paratransit service because you're certified with us.
And obviously that they keep everything in record in the database in case you have to travel somewhere else. And
Yep, and we provide a card that you can just show in another transit district. You know, if you're traveling outside the country. Within Connecticut, it's really easy. We've created a process that we all work together, and there's a simple checkbox on your application that you just check off, allowing us to share it with other transit districts in the state, and you would just direct us to say, you know, I want to go to New Haven, can you please share my application with Greater New Haven Transit District? And we would do that and take care of that all. And as soon as they got it, they would register you in their program.
oh, cool. And
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you guys were actually affiliated with Middletown Area Transit.
We are working together very closely now, sharing a lot of services. And we recently completed a bus study.
Okay, that's right.
And it was actually the results were shown right here.
That's right.
On this channel, and we looked at many things. One being every single route, both in Middletown and down in our area, to see where we can improve them, improve connections, improve hours of service, improve routing, all sorts of things. I mean, it really was a comprehensive review of the services. And we also looked at how we could better coordinate with each other.
Yes.
And so we've already started working on that, and you know, kind of still figuring out exactly how far we'll go. But we're already sharing some. We're actually going to hire our first shared employees shortly. You know, it just makes sense for a lot of things we do to work together.
Absolutely.
Because together we can do even more on many aspects. So, you know, it's a way to make taxpayer money go further and provide a better service to both of our customers. So we're excited as we kind of look at the ways we can do that as effectively as possible.
Joe, would you mind sticking around for another second?
I'd love to.
We'll be right back.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Joe Comerford from Ninetown Transit. Joe, welcome back.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you. So, Joe, we were talking a little bit about in the first half of the show, ADA para. Let's go back to that and let's get into that a little bit more detail.
Sure. So, we were talking about kind of some of I think one of the big advantages of it is that ability to use paratransit services throughout the entire state.
Yes.
So it helps people with disabilities. It really opens up more possibilities for them.
Okay.
And so we recommend to anybody who thinks they may be qualified, even if they're not going to immediately use it, but just might need it, even just for occasional appointments, to just go ahead and apply now. Generally, most certifications are good for 3 years, unless of course you have a temporary disability, which you could also apply for. So even if you just have a temporary disability, if you recently had surgery,
right,
you're temporarily disabled, that's also maybe eligible as well. But certainly if you have a more permanent disability, it's a good idea to get certified.
Yep.
Because that will, like I said, let you, if you have that doctor's appointment that's further away, number one, it automatically qualifies you for our taxi voucher program. So even if there's no ADA paratransit, you have that taxi voucher program, the half-price taxis is an option. But number two, you might be going somewhere that is within our ADA paratransit service area, or in other transit districts' ADA paratransit service area. And especially in this region, where you have access to the trains, maybe you can take a train somewhere, get off the train and hop on an ADA paratransit system somewhere else. So, it's definitely, we definitely recommend to people that if you think you qualify, if you think there's a chance you may need it, apply now so you have that certification.
Absolutely.
And it's also just $350, just like our dollar ride. And get as far as you go. So you go to New Haven for that $350. So it's again another really great price, and get really far on that $350.
Absolutely. And from what I understand is, with transportation and everything, I understand there's an app involved.
There is. We have several different apps now.
Okay.
We have an app, as I said earlier, for our extra mile service.
Right.
So that's kind of one of our very well used apps. I think about 60% of our users on that service are booking through that app.
Yes.
And it's a really easy to use app. If you've ever booked an Uber or a Lyft, or any of those types of services, it's designed to kind of feel a lot like that.
Okay.
So it's really intuitive. It can even use your current location as your pickup spot. So you don't necessarily have to type in an address. And if it uses Google Locations.
Yeah, here we go. We're looking at the graphic right now.
You can see it right there. So you could even just type in a location. You don't have to necessarily know the address. You don't have to know that that Stop and Shop is 665 Boston Post Road, which I know because we go there so often. But most people don't know that. So you could just type in Stop and Shop Old Saybrook.
Right.
And it will automatically fill in that address.
Exactly.
So it's really easy to use, and you kind of see the next step there. You could even just move those things around to put where you are exactly if it's not showing your exact location.
Right.
And you can book with friends. We do have people that do that. We'll go with a couple of friends, with family, and you just click that book ride, and you will get your estimated arrival time. And again, just like many of your transportation network companies out there, you will be able to see the vehicle when you're the next stop. It'll tell you, you'll get a little alert that you're the next stop, and you'll actually be able to see the vehicle, on your screen coming to you. And so you'll get an idea of when, you'll see exactly when it should be coming to you.
Exactly.
Because you'll be seeing its exact location. It is shared ride. Again, a little difference there from the private companies, but again, it's how we're able to do it at currently no cost. Another app is for our dollar ride and ADA paratransit. Unfortunately, all this stuff is really new technology. We've been leaders in technology and all of these things. So nobody's really doing all of it well together yet. So unfortunately, we have these multiple apps out there. I'd love to have it all in one, but right now that's not
yet.
Not quite there yet. So our other app, I know we also have an image of here. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. That's not it.
That's okay.
Our other app I did not bring an image of.
Is that EcoLane?
That's our EcoLane app. Yeah, we got so many, even I get confused now. So the EcoLane app allows people to book their dollar ride or ADA paratransit trips right on their phone. It's very similar to our Extra Mile app, just not again designed for booking right now. It's booking for in advance, but it does provide a lot of the information that our Extra Mile app does.
Right.
You can, if you have the app installed on your phone and you've booked a trip, whether you book on the app or you book by phone, it's all connected together.
Right.
So you'll be able to see the trips you booked, no matter how you booked them, and if you've allowed it to give you notifications, you'll get notifications when you're the next pickup for the vehicle. You'll get notifications when they've arrived now with the latest version. It'll actually tell you that the vehicle's outside your house, and you'll get notifications of the night before telling you, reminding you have these trips. So it's another great tool, and another great thing is you can actually pay in the app now. So you could just attach a credit card to your account,
right?
And when you book the trip, you can it's a little switch on the bottom, you just hit that you want to pay by credit card.
Okay.
And once you've connected a credit card, you could pay for any of your trips by phone. You just have to go into that app once and connect a credit card, and if you call us by phone to book, you can just tell us you want to book on your credit card, and we can then do that once you've attached a credit card to your account. So it helps eliminate cash from our dollar ride service, and you'll see, a little in one of our other apps that I already jumped to by accident.
That's okay.
That we're trying to give people a cashless option.
Yeah.
Across all of our services now. And then another app that we launched just earlier this year, is our app for our fixed route that gives you the real-time location of all of our fixed route vehicles.
I heard about this.
So this is called Passio Go.
Yeah.
Again, all these are on our website. You don't have to remember them. You could go right on our website and get linked straight to either the App Store or the Android Play Store and download these apps. But again, it allows you to first plan out your trip and see where bus stops are, and then it gives you the real-time arrival information. So you can see exactly how far away the bus is. You can set it up so you get alerts at a certain time of the day at your bus stop, so you know when the bus is so many minutes out from you. So you could then go walk out and not get out either too early or too late.
Exactly.
It just gives you that real-time information so that you're not wondering where the bus is, because we all know that when you're standing out there waiting for the bus, it's the longest 5 minutes in the world, right? It seems
absolutely.
like half an hour when you're standing out there waiting, especially if it's bad weather, right?
Exactly.
So, we're trying to make sure that customers have this information if they want to be able to use it. But it also gives us the information so that, again, even if you can't use the app or for whatever reason, you can always call us, and we now know better where all the vehicles are in real time.
Absolutely.
And then the final one is the one I jumped to.
All right. Well, let's go back to that one.
We'll go back to that now. This is our new mobile ticketing, which we are launching along with our relaunch of Fare Collection, November 1st. It is available now. You could already start purchasing tickets and have them in your wallet. And what you see right there on the screen is what the wallet looks like. So we have our whole array of passes available there, whether that be a single ride. You could buy one ride at a time. You can buy a 10-ride pass, and I think that might be what's on the screen there. I can't see that well. You can buy a monthly pass. You can buy you could buy a senior disabled monthly pass, which is half price. You could buy a senior disabled regular fare, which is just 85 cents, which we skipped over before.
Oh, wow.
And we have some exclusive app-only tickets, like a senior disabled 10-ride pass, which is significantly reduced. And we have a one-day pass, which is just $3.50, and we have a 5-day pass. So those are all new passes that are online only, in-app only. And one of the great things you kind of saw up there, that was what the ticket looks like. You just tap the button, and that ticket comes up, and you just show it when you get on the bus. So it minimizes your time up at the front of the bus. So again, not only helps prevent you from having to handle cash, it also lets so you can walk right on the bus. You don't have to stop and pay and have one more point of contact that you're standing there, in front of somebody. So it helps keep everybody a little safer, minimize contact all around. And you just show that, and once you pull up a pass, it stays good for 2 hours. So that's your transfer. That lets you just ride any route for 2 hours, for that $175.
Right.
And another great feature of this is what we call fare capping. And so what that means is if you buy one ride at a time, you automatically will get upgraded to the next best price. So as I said earlier, we have a new one-day pass.
Yes.
It's $3.50. You don't have to buy a day pass. Maybe you don't know how much you're going to ride today.
Right.
Maybe I'm not sure. I might get a ride home later. I don't know. So you could just buy one pass, and if you then need a second pass, you automatically will get upgraded to a day pass.
Yep.
Once you've spent $3.50 in a day, you get upgraded absolutely for free, just automatically. And that keeps happening. So when you get to the next best value of a 5-day pass, which is $14, so if you spend $14 in less than a 5-day period or within a 5-day period, you just get upgraded to a 5-day pass.
Oh, cool.
Just automatically you get a text saying you've been upgraded.
Oh, nice.
And that happens until you reach a 31-day pass. So you always get the best value when you use our app to buy your tickets.
Right.
So we still will have all of our traditional tickets available.
Yep.
They'll still be available in your local Stop and Shops beginning October 15th.
Okay.
They're still available, at our office. But this is a great way to avoid having to go anywhere. It's right there in your pocket. And you could also send people a pass All you need is their mobile phone number.
Really?
And you go right to our website, and you could send a pass to somebody.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you have a loved one or a friend
Very cool.
who uses our services, is a great way to send them their bus pass.
Absolutely.
And they could just, it just goes right to their phone.
Absolutely.
So it's really, we think it's going to be a great way to pay. We already have people buying their passes now, even before we start. And that's fine. You can buy them anytime. They don't start getting, the time doesn't start ticking on them until you actually activate them and use them. So they'll just sit there in your wallet, ready to go whenever you want. And right before the bus arrives, you just tap it and you're ready to board the bus.
And you just show the bus driver.
You just show it as you walk on. Yeah, and as I said, it's good for 2 hours. So you close it, and if you go back in within that 2 hour period, you can pull up that same pass. You don't have to use a new one again. So
and obviously, if it's after the 2 hours, you have to use a new
and then you would
pass.
use a new one, right? Unless it's a time pass, like a day pass.
Right.
And then you ride all day for free. Well, not free, but $350.
Right, exactly.
Once you've spent that $350, you just upgrade to that day pass. So if you use this, once you ride twice in a day,
Right.
all subsequent rides in that day are no extra charge. So, yeah, we're really excited to bring this to the shoreline. Not a lot of places have mobile ticketing yet.
Nope.
It's growing,
Okay.
but we're still really early in adopting this and bringing it to our customers here on the shore.
Cool.
So we're really excited about that
Very cool.
new opportunity.
Very cool. Let's see.
And that's in addition to, we still accept U-Passes too. It's another great value.
Okay.
Of course, a lot of people, like I said earlier, are doing their schooling online.
Online, right.
But, hopefully next semester that will change some. If you attend one of the state universities or college systems, all the ones in this area all participate in the Connecticut U-Pass program, and that allows you to ride any fixed route bus in the state and Metro North Railroad within Connecticut at no charge. That's just included in your tuition that you already pay. You just have to get it from a university, and every university has a way that you obtain it, and they can refer to their university for information on how to get that pass. But they don't charge you for it at all. You've already paid for it. It's a great thing to have.
Absolutely.
So you can use either the bus systems or the railroad in Connecticut, and that includes Shoreline East and Hartford Line. So it's another great value.
Now let's talk about the IRV phone reminders.
Yeah, another new technology. We had several projects in the works before COVID hit, and kind of some of the quiet time gave us a chance to launch several new technologies, and a lot of them were things on your smartphone.
Yeah.
Things online, because that is where a lot of things are going. But we still serve a lot of people who don't use those things.
Right.
And rely on more traditional forms of communication, like the telephone.
Yes.
Whereas many of us barely use our phones to call.
Exactly.
We still understand that's important to people.
Yep.
So we earlier this year launched what's called an interactive voice response phone system, where all of our Dollar Ride and ADA paratransit customers get a call the night before, reminding them of all of their trips they have the next day. Mm-hmm. So it tells you where you're getting picked up, where you're going to, and the times that you have scheduled to be picked up. And it gives you the option to cancel all of your trips, one trip, whatever you'd like to cancel, all just by pushing a button on the phone.
Right.
And it's a great reminder, but also a great confirmation, so you know that everything's booked and it's booked correctly. And then on the day of your trip, you will get a phone call about 15 minutes before the bus is actually estimated to arrive, based on our real-time tracking.
Yep.
Telling you the bus is on the way.
Yes.
So that you know to go ahead and get your things all ready to go and be watching for that bus to arrive.
Yes.
So, and it's both in English and Spanish. So, it's just another tool, because as I have said many times with other technologies, we know not everybody uses smartphones, not everybody uses the internet.
Right.
While many people do, we still serve a number of people who don't. So it's one way to bring better communication to our customers who don't use the internet, and give them another way to kind of know when exactly the bus is arriving, so that they're not just sitting there waiting, not sure when it's coming. So it's been very well received. People have really appreciated that, getting that information.
I'm going to say, if I check my phone right now after we're done, I'm sure I'm going to have one for tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Probably.
I'm surprised it's not ringing right now. It usually happens about this time
of
day. Right about 6 o'clock, it starts going out.
Exactly.
And the ability to cancel too, again, just by pushing a button is really beneficial to people.
Now let's circle back and talk about the EcoLane app, how easy that is to use. Personal experience?
I was going to say, probably the best person to talk about that is you.
You think? Maybe?
Being one of the first people to use it.
That's right.
If not the first.
That's right.
Besides me.
I was going to say, I think you were the first. I was the second. I think
Probably.
I test drove that for you when it first popped out.
Yes.
And it actually is very easy to download.
I think it's improved
use.
a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Over the years. And one of the recent improvements to that is that that is now, as of like a few days ago,
yep.
if you have the latest version of it, is now also allowing you to use common location names, and it pulls it out of Google. So if the location you're going to is in Google, which what isn't today, then you don't need the addresses anymore. In the past, it had to be an address we had entered in already.
Yep.
And we enter in most, but there's always some things that you might be the first person to go there.
Right.
Now you can use the Google locations, those names, and it searches Google as you start typing. So that helps a little bit in that, again, who knows the addresses of most of the places we go on the post road? Right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just
yeah, no.
It's just Route 1 of the post road, right?
It's Route 1 and Old. Yeah, it's
that's
Route
right.
1 and Old
It's just. Right, it's CVS. It's we don't know the address. It's whatever it is.
Who knows the address of Stop and Shop in Madison?
Exactly.
It's the gazebo.
Yes. So
I think.
So it's really helpful.
Yeah, it's
very helpful to have that automatically populate for you. And again, as we said earlier, I think the information that it gives is great too. So even if you're not totally comfortable booking your own trips in the app, which some people aren't, it's a great tool once your trip is booked to again confirm your trips. Make sure everything looks good, and know exactly when the vehicle's arriving.
Right.
I mean, to actually see it on the screen helps alleviate, any anxiety you might have about waiting for the bus, because we all do, right? I mean, it's just natural that we all worry until the vehicle gets there. That is it going to be here on time? Are they going to forget?
Is it going to get me there where I need to go?
There's things people worry about that not that we ever forget people, but it's just a natural concern people have, right?
Absolutely.
When you're waiting on someone else to provide your transportation, it's understandably could be a little nervous.
You know what else we got to talk about, because we got some time? New buses.
We have lots of new buses.
I was going to say last time.
Yeah, I didn't have on my list because I was afraid we were running out of time. But
no, keep going.
That's great. We have replaced our entire fleet since last year.
Yes.
In 2-year period. We have lots of new vehicles on the road. Everything's new. And so not only are they new, which, not that our vehicles ever get very old, but they're new, and we have new types of vehicles. So that's one of the other kind of
let's talk
exciting
about it.
things.
We got time.
So probably people have noticed we have larger transit buses now running up and down Route 1.
Yep.
And for many, many years, we had issues with overcrowding. I'm sure something you can speak to, particularly in Madison.
Oh yeah.
And it took some time to work through all the channels, but they finally arrived after many, many years. So we're really excited to have those out. And now, of course, ridership is down due to COVID. But the great thing about that still is that we have more room in the vehicle to socially distance. Right. So we might not have as many people riding it pre-pandemic, but if we were using our smaller vehicles, people would be very crowded even today in those small vehicles. So this gives people more space to be more distant and provides a little more safety and comfort to our customers. And one of the other new things is on the other side, we have smaller vehicles, smaller than we've had in the past. So, there's some new vehicles out that are smaller in size, which work great for our Dial-A-Ride and ADA paratransit, where we don't need a large vehicle.
No.
We just need a vehicle large enough to accommodate a lift, and that's why we use buses for those services, is to have that lift, because people often ask that question. If you don't, if you only have 2 or 3 people usually riding at once, why do you use a bus? And it's so that we can accommodate all abilities, right?
Right.
That's extremely important in what we do.
Absolutely.
So this allows us to do that with a smaller vehicle that gets better gas mileage. It's supposed to average about 2 to 3 miles per gallon better than our vehicles currently do. So just another way we're trying to, we're always trying to right size our vehicles, which can be hard sometimes. There's only so much out there that's available, and you need some flexibility. But we're trying to do that to the extent that we can, to again maximize both the comfort to our customers, but also taxpayer dollars. Right?
Yes.
We want to be the best stewards of the money that we can.
Absolutely.
And run it as cost effectively as we can. And it's how we continue to be one of the lowest cost transit agencies in the state. I mean, significantly lower than many other transit systems out there. So, it's very important to us that we spend our taxpayer dollars well.
Absolutely. Before I forget, I'm going to, for about a minute and a half or 90 seconds, I'm going to hop on my soapbox. You guys are amazing. Everybody in the office, if I have to call with a question, absolutely awesome. Your drivers are always friendly. And they're always on time, too.
Well, that's all great to hear.
Which is
all great to hear. And,
it's a good thing.
But I'll say that we have a group of people who really enjoy what they do, even through the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
They all came to work. They all understand the importance of what it is that we do.
Yep.
And how critical we are in the lives of the people that we serve.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, many of us take for granted the ability to hop in our car and just go somewhere.
Exactly.
And while we have a number of choice riders, people who choose to ride transit, they don't have to.
Right.
Many of our customers, that's not the case.
Right.
And we are their only choice.
Correct.
And and again, our staff really do understand that, and and I really take that to heart and understand the important role they serve.
Oh, absolutely.
And in the pandemic, they saw it especially because, again, we were transporting so many essential workers.
Yeah.
And not only essential workers, but people who were making essential trips, right? So, even through this pandemic, people had to get to the grocery store. Still get food, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, maybe you were staying home for, pretty much all week, but you still had to get out to get your food.
Exactly.
Taking people to, the Shoreline Soup Kitchen, the various, services like that. It was all, a lot of critical trips.
Yeah.
And this pandemic was a reminder of how critical public transportation is in the lives of so many people.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, people expected there'd be very few people on the buses.
Yep.
And it was lower.
Yeah.
But they were still there because of how critical their travel was, and and many times we are their only choice. So.
Exactly. Let's talk about the big buses and the route buses for a second, as far as social distancing when you get on the bus. When you get on the bus, what can you expect to see?
So when they get on, they'll see signs reminding them to wear a mask. Also signs reminding them that if they're feeling sick, to not ride.
Yep.
Because obviously we don't want somebody knowing they're unwell to get on the bus and possibly risk infecting others. They'll see new barriers in place between the driver and themselves.
Okay.
On our larger buses, they'll also see that again until the end of October. We'll be doing rear door boarding. So, because there's no paying a fare, we're boarding from the rear. So again, less passing by the driver.
Correct.
And they'll see signage throughout the bus asking them to sit apart from each other and ask them not to sit in certain seats.
Exactly.
And many reminders throughout the vehicle of all the different safety precautions you should be taking. We also have hand sanitizer on every bus, right? When you walk in the door, there's a bottle of hand sanitizer there attached to the vehicle.
There is on Dial-A-Ride as well.
It's on every single vehicle. Yes, every one of our vehicles has it. And I think it's kind of a lot of things that we've all grown accustomed to seeing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's different times, and it's something we're seeing everywhere. And so a lot of the same practices you have anywhere else you're going, you're going to see on the bus. That, and as long as we can do it, some open windows to kind of keep fresh air circulating through the vehicle.
Absolutely.
We know, from what we know of this, we know fresh air helps. So, and as we learn more, we're going to continue to try to change and adapt to the things we learn and new technologies that may become available. So, as I said earlier, we have more barriers being installed in some of our larger buses. They were the last ones to get installed. And we're bombarded with new technologies out there all the time.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
We're just going to keep evaluating them, see which ones are effective, and use the ones that are effective.
Now, if people want more information on Ninetown Transit, where are they going?
So the best place to go is our website. It's the number 9, towntransit.com. And from there, as I said earlier, you can link to all of our different apps. You can get online information, so you can see right online locations of our buses. You could apply for ADA paratransit. You could apply for the half fare program, which is a statewide half fare program. Lets you pay half fare on any bus in the state and also on the train systems. So another great thing to have if you have a disability or if you're a senior, absolutely you should apply for those things. And you could also call us if you don't use the internet. Our phone number is 860-510-0429. And we were happy to answer any questions you have. Because again, we understand that everybody has internet access, and we could also mail one of our brochures out. Our brochures have pretty much all the information I spoke about today. It's we have all of our route maps and time schedules, but also information on things like our taxi voucher program, and our dollar ride and ADA paratransit are all in here, and our brochures in both English and Spanish. So you get all of that information here as well. We're happy to mail it out to you. But of course, all of this is also on our website. And these are also available in many locations throughout the community. Again, they're a little harder to find now because a lot of printed material has been put away during this pandemic. But again, we're happy to mail one out to you. So if you can't get online, or if you just prefer paper, please give us a call, and we're happy to mail one of these right out to you.
What are hours of operation for the phone lines?
Our phones are Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So. And
you guys are based out of Centerbrook?
We are.
That I know.
Yep. We are right here on the shoreline. Pretty much all of our bus operators live here on the shoreline. Pretty much all of our staff live right here on the shoreline. So we all know the area very well, and are all part of this community. So we're happy to serve it.
No, and you guys, like I said before, you guys are awesome.
Oh, we really enjoy hearing that.
Speaking of from a rider's aspect and a rider's perspective, you guys are great.
Oh, I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem.
Certainly we're sharing it with all of our great staff.
Absolutely. I'm sure you hear the good, the bad, and the ugly every once in a while.
We sure do.
Oh, absolutely. So website one more time before we say goodnight, Joe.
So it's the number 9, towntransit.com.
Joe Comerford from Ninetown Transit, thanks for coming down. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Joe. On behalf of Joe Comerford, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next time.